My girlfriend deleted my work files on purpose because she thought I worked too much, and she needs more attention. I sued her for damages and blocked her. I, 32 male, work as a manager at a local store chain. A while back, I started dating someone I'll call my girlfriend. At first, everything between us felt wonderful. She seemed genuinely supportive of my career, taking pride in how dedicated I was. She'd mentioned how she loved my ambition, how she admired the way I poured myself into every task. I thought I'd hit the jackpot, a partner who understood my drive and never made me feel guilty about it. I was wrong. I'd invite her over to my apartment so we could have quiet nights in, or we'd go out for dinner when I had time between shifts. Sometimes I brought my laptop home to finalize scheduling or review sales data. She started dropping little remarks. "You're always busy. I hardly see you. You're working too much." At first, I interpreted these as normal frustrations that couples have. Everyone wants more quality time with their partner. I'd reassure her that once I cleared certain deadlines at work, we'd go on a weekend getaway or just enjoy a lazy Sunday together. I tried to show her I was willing to make adjustments while still maintaining my career commitments. But she grew more resentful. She complained that my phone kept buzzing with messages from coworkers or that I'd sometimes step out to take important calls. She even criticized me for bringing my laptop on visits with my parents, claiming I couldn't detach from my job long enough to appreciate family time. In reality, I was just trying to stay on top of pressing deadlines. My father had always taught me the importance of diligence, so I guess I got that trait from him. Still, I never intended to neglect my relationship. Things reached a boiling point when I started noticing small, suspicious events in my apartment. My laptop charger went missing one day, only to reappear in a random cabinet the next. My external hard drive, containing backups of crucial work files, mysteriously vanished for 3 days before I found it wedged behind a couch cushion. Each time my girlfriend claimed she had no idea what happened, or she'd shrug and say maybe I was too forgetful. It never occurred to me that she might be deliberately moving my stuff around, though it seemed odd. At the time, I gave her the benefit of the doubt, chalking it up to my own scatterbrained nature. Eventually, I caught her standing by my computer. She thought I was asleep. She was fiddling with some folders, but she quickly backed away when I walked in. There was tension in the air as I asked if she needed something. She stuttered, "Just looking for music." My gut told me something wasn't right. The next day, I found a slew of empty folders where all my crucial store-related documents used to be. I went into a panic. Those files contained updated schedules, financial projections, vendor contracts, weeks of careful planning. Gone in an instant. I confronted her, heart racing, trying to understand what had happened. At first, she pretended not to know. But as my voice grew sharper, she burst out, "It's your fault for ignoring me. I did it so you'd pay attention." I stood there, momentarily stunned, like I had a ringing in my ears. She said she was tired of how work-obsessed I'd become, that I was never fully present in our relationship, so she decided to teach me a lesson. Apparently, her idea of a lesson was outright sabotage. I demanded she leave my apartment immediately. She refused, shouting back that I was acting like she was a criminal and not a girlfriend who just wanted more affection. My blood was boiling. The betrayal cut deeper than I can explain. Yes, I spent a lot of time working. Yes, I was always racing against some new deadline. But intentionally destroying my property and livelihood? Who does that to someone they claim to love? After that explosive confrontation, I practically pushed her out the door, making it clear we needed space. She wouldn't go quietly, though. She hurled accusations at me, insisting I had prioritized spreadsheets over her feelings. She said she had tried to talk to me about it, but I never listened. And maybe I was guilty of not realizing how frustrated she felt. But I never imagined she'd cross such a destructive boundary. Once she was gone, I worked frantically to recover the deleted files. I hoped maybe they were still in the trash bin, or that my external drive might have an older backup. Unfortunately, my girlfriend had gone the extra step of wiping them from the computer's recycle folder, and to my horror, the external drive was also suspiciously blank. It felt like a punch to the gut, months of effort erased, and I had no straightforward way to retrieve them. I tried file recovery software, combed through hidden folders, nothing. I was nearly in tears from frustration. With deadlines looming at my job, the stress on me reached a dangerous level. I spent entire nights attempting to recreate as much data as I could from memory and scanning old email attachments to patch together something workable. It was still a pathetic fraction of what I had before. My supervisors and coworkers demanded explanations. I told them my system crashed, that I was doing everything possible to recover. I swallowed my pride and put in overtime more than ever just to keep the store's operations running smoothly. In the midst of all this, I was also grappling with emotional betrayal. My girlfriend, someone I'd openly confided in, someone I thought had my back, deliberately threw a grenade into my professional life. Each time I thought about it, I felt physically sick. My father noticed I was more stressed than usual. I told him a simplified version of what happened, and he insisted I explore legal action. He was furious that someone who claimed to care about me had jeopardized my finances and stability. I decided to consult with an attorney who specialized in civil cases. The idea of suing my girlfriend felt insane, but I realized I'd sustained serious financial damages. I had to hire outside help to replicate certain lost files, special consultants who could reassemble or reformat some documents from archive records. The attorney explained we had grounds to pursue a lawsuit for intentional damage to my property and potential financial harm. It wouldn't be an instant process. These things rarely are in the United States. However, he assured me we could build a compelling case, especially because I had texts from her gloating about how she deleted my files on purpose to teach me a lesson. Filing the lawsuit took some nerve. I had to gather all the evidence, screenshots of her messages, proof of how this data loss impacted my work, and records of the money I spent trying to recover or rebuild files. It felt surreal to turn such a private heartbreak into a legal claim. Yet, every time I second-guessed myself, I remembered how deliberate she'd been in her sabotage, how she even boasted about it in a few messages. My attorney's confidence reassured me, but I still struggled emotionally. I couldn't believe I was taking legal measures against someone I'd once pictured a future with. Shortly after I filed, my girlfriend found out. She exploded at me over calls and text messages, accusing me of being dramatic. She said I was punishing her for wanting more attention. Her approach was manipulative. Why are you acting like I killed someone? Are you seriously dragging me to court because you couldn't manage your files? She twisted everything to make me look like a corporate shill who had no time for relationships. But in my eyes, it was simple. If you intentionally destroy someone's property, especially crucial work documents, you should be held accountable. She tried every dirty trick in the book to make me drop the lawsuit. First, she spread rumors among mutual acquaintances, painting me as a merciless boyfriend who couldn't handle a little tough love. Then she threatened to reveal personal details about our relationship if I didn't back off. I had no idea what secrets she intended to disclose, but it was unsettling. She kept leaving voicemails about how she was suffering financially and couldn't afford a legal battle, hoping guilt might persuade me. She also reached out to my mother, claiming I was making a huge mistake, as if my own family would turn against me for defending myself. But despite her attempts, I stayed the course. I refused to let her manipulate me any further. Instead of caving, I documented every threat, every attempt at emotional blackmail, and passed it along to my attorney. He told me her manipulative behavior only strengthened our position, demonstrating intent to harm and a pattern of hostility. During this time, I also protected my digital life. I changed passwords, backed up everything in multiple drives, and blocked her from all social media. The moment I blocked her, she started calling me from unknown numbers, leaving cryptic voicemails. I had no patience left for this madness. Eventually, the court date was set. My father accompanied me for moral support. I remember sitting outside the courthouse, feeling a mixture of dread and relief. Dread because I never wanted to see her face again. Relief because it was time for justice. When she walked in, she looked defiant. She tried to stare me down, as if challenging me to drop the case. But I wouldn't flinch. During the hearing, my attorney laid out our evidence, text messages in which she admitted deleting the files, the receipts for consulting fees, the frantic attempts at data recovery, and proof of financial loss from missed deadlines. The judge seemed genuinely disturbed by her actions. My ex tried spinning a tale. She claimed I was emotionally distant, that she only deleted some minor files, never expecting it to spiral out of control. But her own words contradicted her story. Our text exchanges, where she smugly said she did it so I'd pay attention, were right there for the judge to read. The judge found her actions constituted intentional harm to personal property and awarded me damages corresponding to the documented costs of data recovery, plus some additional compensation for lost earnings. It wasn't a fortune, but it was definitely enough to cover my expenses and acknowledge the time and effort I'd wasted restoring my workflow. More importantly, it validated everything I'd been through. When the verdict came, she looked rattled. The self-assured smirk she'd worn at the beginning was completely gone. After that, I cut off all contact with her. I blocked her on my phone, blocked her on every social media platform. Our mutual acquaintances were split. Some thought I overreacted. Others agreed she took things too far. Regardless, I had no intention of reconciling with someone who demonstrated such reckless disregard for my livelihood. My father was proud I stood my ground. He told me I couldn't let people trample over my boundaries just because they claimed to love me. In the weeks after, she tried to beg for forgiveness through mutual friends. She claimed she was emotionally unstable and didn't mean to cause permanent harm. She blamed stress, my long hours, her own insecurities. She pleaded that we at least talk things out. But I'd reached a point of no return. I had no interest in hearing more excuses or letting her back into my life. The lawsuit was settled, the damages awarded, and I had what I needed to rebuild. Letting her in again would only reopen old wounds. Looking back, I can't ignore her attempts at dirty tactics. Beyond the rumors and emotional blackmail, she once suggested to one of my coworkers that I'd been embezzling funds at the store. A bold-faced lie, and thankfully, my coworker realized it was a ridiculous claim. Another time, she threatened to show up at my workplace to expose me for being a neglectful partner. It was pure chaos. Each stunt fueled my resolve to follow through with legal action. I couldn't let that level of entitlement run amok in my life. If she could sabotage my files just because she felt neglected, who knew what she'd do next? The revenge part. Securing that judgment felt incredibly satisfying. It was proof that her destructive actions had tangible consequences. She owed me the cost of restoring my data, and I made sure the payment process was handled formally through the court. She complained bitterly about the financial setback, but that's exactly what comes from messing with someone's livelihood. It was a direct lesson. If you try to ruin someone's career, expect to pay for it, legally, monetarily, and socially. Despite all the anger and turmoil, I realized how crucial it is to set boundaries. My father, mother, and a couple of close friends formed a strong support system, reminding me not to let her manipulations twist my sense of right and wrong. Although I'm still working to recover my trust in relationships, I've learned to protect myself better, both emotionally and practically. The entire ordeal taught me how essential it is to have secure backups of my files and my personal life. I won't let anyone toy with my hard work ever again.